The world is holding its breath tonight because one wrong move could ignite a war that changes everything. The United States is frustrated. Iran is unmoved. Oil is tightening. And one of the most dangerous waterways on Earth is still locked down. And now Donald Trump says he's not satisfied. Not satisfied with a deal that could decide whether millions live in peace or face another devastating war. Good evening. I'm James Merello, and this is NPM News. Tonight, a global crisis that refuses to end, a fragile ceasefire, a stalled negotiation, and rising tension between the United States and Iran that could explode at any moment. Because behind closed doors, talks have frozen, and what's at stake goes far beyond politics. We're talking about oil, the global economy, and the possibility of another full-scale conflict. Just hours ago, Donald Trump made it clear he is not impressed with Iran's latest proposal. Iran had quietly submitted a new negotiating offer through Pakistan, but no one knows exactly what's inside. And that silence, it's making things worse. Speaking to reporters, Trump didn't hold back. He admitted he's unhappy with what's being offered and pointed fingers at what he described as deep internal conflict within Iran's leadership. But then he said something that sent chills across the world. Two options: either strike hard and end it permanently, or try to make a deal. And while he says he prefers peace, the fact that war is still on the table tells you everything you need to know. Let's step back for a moment. This conflict didn't start yesterday. It began on February 28th, when the United States and Israel launched surprise strikes on Iran, a move that shocked the world. Since then, tension has been constant. A ceasefire was declared on April 8th, but peace? Not even close. Only one round of direct talks has happened, and it failed. And while politicians talk, Iran is tightening its grip on one of the most important trade routes on Earth, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow stretch of water controls a massive portion of the world's oil supply. And right now, it's effectively blocked. That means less oil, higher prices, and a global economy under pressure. In response, the United States has launched its own blockade on Iranian ports. So what we're seeing isn't peace. It's a pause in a very dangerous standoff. Despite all of this, the ceasefire is still holding. But for how long? Inside Iran, officials are sending mixed signals. On one hand, they claim they're open to negotiations. On the other, they refuse to accept any conditions forced on them. Translation: they don't want war, but they won't back down. And on the streets of Tehran, people are losing hope. One resident described the situation as feeling like being stuck in purgatory. Not at peace, not at war, just waiting for a decision that could change everything. And behind the scenes, new demands are emerging. The U.S. is now pushing to bring Iran's nuclear program back into the negotiations, including strict conditions on enriched uranium. That's a red line for Iran. And crossing red lines is how wars begin. Meanwhile, the impact is already being felt. Oil prices briefly dropped when news of Iran's proposal broke. But don't be fooled. They're still nearly 50% higher than before the war. Inside Iran, the situation is even worse. Inflation has skyrocketed past 50%. Basic necessities are becoming unaffordable. Families are struggling to eat, to pay rent, to survive. And the pressure is rising in the United States too. Back home, Donald Trump is facing growing criticism. No clear victory, rising costs, and elections just around the corner. Even Congress is now questioning whether the president has the authority to continue this conflict without approval. And if that wasn't enough, military movement is still ongoing. The massive aircraft carrier, USS Gerald R. Ford, has just left the region, but two more carriers remain. At the same time, the U.S. is building a new international coalition to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Europe is doing the same. But here's the problem: they're not fully aligned. And when allies aren't on the same page, that creates even more uncertainty. So here we are, a fragile ceasefire, a rejected proposal, a world watching and waiting. Peace is still possible, but so is escalation. And right now, everything hangs in the balance. What do you think? Should the United States push harder for a deal, or prepare for something more aggressive? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want real, unfiltered global updates like this, subscribe to NPM News. I'm James Merello. Stay informed because the next move could change the world.